Good morning, Facebook, YouTube, and Twitter. This is Rich again, back for your first video blog of the day for Sunday, March 29th, 2015, around 6:26 in the morning in Benoit, Massachusetts. It's going to be a nice day. Highs in the low 40s. Some news to report. Toronto Maple Leafs beat the Ottawa Senators by a score of 4-3, meaning the Bruins still have the wild card spot locked up. The second one right now. The Minnesota Wild are now in third place in the Central Division in NHL. They're on a hot streak. I think nobody wants to play them in the playoffs right now. The Warriors clinched the #1 seed out west. Kentucky survived the major scare last night against Notre Dame, but beat the Irish by 2 points to advance to the NCAA Final Four. They're now 38-0, and then the Harvard hockey teams got bounced out of the NCAA men's hockey tournament last night. And that's about it. Happy Palm Sunday. My first video subject of the day is my review of WrestleMania 17. WrestleMania 17 happened at Astrodome in Houston, Texas, April 1st, 2001. The main event was Stone Cold Steve Austin versus The Rock for the WWE Championship. And Stone Cold turned heel and joined Vince McMahon, and they formed an alliance. And over 67,000 people saw WrestleMania 17 at the Astrodome in Houston, Texas. Calling the matches were good old JR, Jim Ross, and Paul Heyman. And this is the time in the wrestling business, well, when the WWE was the only major league wrestling promotion in town. WCW was bought out by the WWE, and ECW was folded around this time. Before the pay-per-view on Sunday Night Heat, it was the X Factor, X-Pac, and Just Incredible with Albert beating Grandmaster Sexay and Steve Blackman in about 3 minutes and stuff in a tag team match. But that was on Sunday Night Heat. This was not on the pay-per-view card. And now here's the matches that were on the pay-per-view card. The first match was for the Intercontinental title. It was Lord William Regal facing off against Chris Jericho, who was the reigning WWE Intercontinental Champion at that time. This was about a 6-7 minute match, a solid match to open it up, back and forth. The ending had like Chris Jericho put William Regal in the Lion's Salt and pinned him 1, 2, 3. The next match was a 6-man tag team match. It was the Right to Censor, which was Steven Richards, the Good Father, and Val Venus facing off against the APA, the Acolytes Protection Agency, Bradshaw, and Farouk, and Taz with Miss Jackie in their corner. This was like a 6-man grudge match, only about 3 minutes and so or so. Bradshaw wins with the clothesline from hell. The next match was a hardcore triple threat match for the WWE Hardcore Championship. It was Raven, who was the reigning Hardcore Champion, facing off against Kane and The Big Show. And this was kind of a come down for The Big Show because the previous year he was in the main event at WrestleMania 16, and now he's fighting for the Hardcore Championship. The Hardcore was like kind of a gimmick for comedy big card wrestlers, not like some who were in the main event. And this was a great match and stuff. They brawled all over the Astrodome into the backstage. The ending had Kane beating Raven and The Big Show up, and Kane gets the 1, 2, 3 to win the Hardcore Championship. The next match was for the WWE European Championship. It was Test, who was the reigning reigning European champion, facing off against Eddie Guerrero. I lie, I cheat, I steal. This was, a very decent match. Lasted maybe about 6-7 minutes. The ending had the Radicals come out, Perry Saturn and Dean Malenko distracting the referee. Then Eddie grabs the belt, the European title, and hits like Test with it in the head. Referee doesn't see it, and then Eddie covers Test for the 1, 2, 3. Eddie cheats to win the Intercontinental Championship. I lie, I cheat, I steal. Great match, pushing Eddie as a mid-card heel at this point to WWE. The next match was the Olympic gold medal winner, Kurt Angle, facing off against the crippler, Chris Benoit. He did exist, my friends. He did exist, and this was a great match by the crippler, Chris Benoit, and your Olympic hero. It was a back and forth match and stuff like that. The ending had the referee take a bump, and then Benoit has the crippler cross face for Angle. Angle taps out, but the referee doesn't see it, and he can't call what he doesn't see because he's out. Then when Chris revives the referee, Angle rolls him up and uses a pair of tights for the 1, 2, 3. Angle wins. Great match. This was probably one of the best matches on the card. The next match was for the WWE Women's title. It was Ivory, who was the reigning WWE Women's Champion and part of the Right to Censor group, facing off against Chyna. Chyna came back after she was injured by the Right to Censor at the 2001 Royal Rumble. This was only a quick match. Chyna wins by pressing Ivory for the 1, 2, 3, and Chyna becomes the new WWE Women's Champion. This was probably Chyna's last big moment in the WWE, and really a big come down for her because she was wrestling men for a while in the WWE. She was the Intercontinental Champion for three times, and now she's wrestling women. And I liked when she was wrestling the men, but when she was wrestling the women was not good because she was superior to all the women in the WWE, and I liked the matches she had with the men. The next match was a special grudge match. It was WWE owner Vince McMahon facing off against his son Shane, and the special guest referee was Mick Foley, and Vince had in his corner Trish Stratus and Stephanie McMahon, and this was a big match, all-out brawl and stuff like that. Vince and Shane are not regular wrestlers and stuff like that, and they were doing amazing maneuvers halfway through the match. Trish brings down Linda McMahon, who was in a state of a coma because in a wheelchair because she had a mental breakdown earlier in the year and stuff like that. She was acting like she was out of it, and then Trish gets mad and then slaps Vince, and then Stephanie and Trish have a cat fight. That's what Joey Styles Eddie was calling this. And then Vince continues to pummel Shane and stuff like that. And then when he brings Linda to the ring, up in the range to show her what he's doing to Shane, but Linda gets up and then kicks Vince with the low blow, and Shane does an amazing move and pins Vince 1, 2, 3. This was one of the best matches in WrestleMania history for two non-wrestlers. You have to give the credit to that. The next match was for the WWE Tag Team Championships. It was the TLC match. It was the second straight year they had a TLC match at WrestleMania between the Dudley Boys, the Hardy Boys, and Edge and Christian. This match was through the roof, but not as good as the one that happened at WrestleMania 16. There were a lot of interferences by Rhino, who was aligned with Edge and Christian, Spike Dudley, who was aligned with the Dudley Boys, and Lita, who was aligned with Matt and Jeff Hardy. Was amazing. Ending had like the Edge and Christian threw both the Dudleys and Hardys out, and they grabbed the belts and on the new WWE World Tag Team Champions. Second straight year Edge and Christian won, which, I didn't think it was necessary. They should have either had the Dudleys or the Hardys win. I would have had the Hardys win because Lita was real popular and stuff like that. And then the next match was the Gimmick Battle Royal. It had 19 WWE legends come down the ring, including Sergeant Slaughter, the Iron Sheik, Hillbilly Jim, Nikolai Volkov, One Man Gang, Earthquake, Tugboat, the Goon, the Bushwhackers, Doink the Clown, Duke the Dumpster Doshi, Kamala, Kimchi, Jim Cornette, Brother Love, Mike Michael P.S. Hayes, the Gobbledygooker, and a few others, and calling the gimmick battle royal was Mean Gene Okerlund and Bobby the Brain Heenan. This was a very funny match stuff, only about 3-4 minutes. The Iron Sheik wins the match by throwing Billy Jim out of the ring. Iron Sheik had to win because he could not take bumps over the top rope because of his conditions with his knees. But after the match, after the Sheik was cheering, Sergeant Slaughter puts the Cobra Claws on the Sheik, and people were going crazy. It was great to see Bobby the Brain Heenan and Mean Gene Okerlund back in the WWE after years being in WCW. This was just filler, but it was probably the funniest filler of them all. The next match was the Undertaker facing off against Triple H, and this was a great match. It was one of the great matches. The Undertaker was in his American Badass gimmick, which, you know, I kind of like the badass gimmick for the Undertaker. Around this time, he needed a refreshing up from being the dead man then to the American Badass, and it was a back and forth match. Lots of near pinfalls. Triple H almost ended the streak 13 years before before Brock Lesnar did, when he had the sledgehammer, but Undertaker kicked out. The ending of the match had the Undertaker use the last ride, a power bomb on Triple H for the 1, 2, 3, and the Undertaker comes 9-0. He missed the previous WrestleMania, the Undertaker, because he was hurt. And then the main event, it was The Rock, the reigning WWE champion, against Stone Cold Steve Austin. This was an old disqualification match for the WWE Championship. This was amazing title match. It was back and forth, because it was no disqualification. Referees go down and cheers and stuff like that. Ending of the match has Vince McMahon come down and then help Stone Cold Steve Austin. The fans were booing Austin like crazy like that. Stone Cold beats The Rock 1, 2, 3, and Jim Ross says, "I say it ain't so." When Vince McMahon and Stone Cold shake hands, Stone Cold turns heel and continues to beat The Rock up, and it's unbelievable and stuff like that. The Stone Cold Steve Austin turns heel. He aligns himself with Vince McMahon, but eventually the fans don't buy Stone Cold as a heel and stuff like that. Because it was April 1st, I thought the next night on it would be an April Fool's Day joke, and Stone Cold gives Vince McMahon the stunner. That would have been awesome, but they were going to turn Stone Cold heel and stuff like that, but that didn't work at the end because the fans can't imagine Stone Cold as a heel. This WrestleMania was probably the best WrestleMania of all time. 10 out of 10 stars, lots of solid matches, excluding the Vince McMahon versus Shane McMahon match. TLC 2, even though Edge and Christian winning the second straight year was a little bit disappointing. Stone Cold Steve Austin against The Rock for the WWE Championship. The Undertaker versus Triple H, the gimmick battle royal, and Chris Benoit against Kurt Angle and stuff. There was not too many bad matches on here except the China versus Ivory match. And I give this WrestleMania a perfect 10 out of 10. The next time I'll be reviewing WrestleMania 18 from the Sky Dome, well, it's now known as Rogers Center, in Toronto, Canada. And later on today, 2 more video blogs. First video blog will be about my take on the 2014-2015 Boston Bruins season. It's only 2 weeks before it ends, but I'm going to tell you what I think about the Bruins this year and about that. And also the last video blog will be about a legend in hockey in the city of Philadelphia, Bobby Clark, because continuing my Philadelphia sports video blogs, April's coming up, and everybody's going to be liking who I'm going to have on the video blogs for personalized profiles. And coming in June, on the first year anniversary of these video blogs, I'm going to have guests, but guests are only going to be once or twice a week. And if you have any ideas, send them PM me and follow me at Chewy7 on Twitter. And if you want to Skype me. Good day, everybody. See you later.